Good morning, students. Today I will teach you English of grade 6 from a NCERT book, Honeysuckle. Today we will read poem number 3, The Quirrell. It is written by Eleanor Farzion. Eleanor Farzion was born on 13 February 1881 and she died on 5th June 1965. She was an English author of children's stories and plays, poetry, biography, history, and satire. She won many literary awards, and the Eleanor Farzion Award for Children's Literature is presented annually in her memory by the Children's Book Circle, a society of publishers. Now, let's have a look on the mind mapping. Basically, we do the mind mapping to understand the concept through visual and listening skills. So, what do you understand by the word quarrel? It could be fight or an argument or hatred. We can easily see in the picture a quarrel between two persons. It could be brother or sister or anybody else. Now, what are the aims and objectives of reading this poem? The first one is to know about the relationship of brother and sister, to critically appreciate the poem, to enhance vocabulary. While reading this poem, you will learn many new words. So, let's have a look on the words along with the parts of speech and their meanings. The first word is slight. Slight is an adjective that means tiny. Thump. Thump is a verb that means pat. Go on is a verb that means to continue. Quarrel is a verb that means clash. Start is a noun that means to commence. Now, the introduction of the poem. The poem, The Quirrell, is about the quarrel between the siblings. The poet talks about the love hidden behind the quarreling of the siblings. They fight with each other, but they cannot live without each other. In the poem, the poet speaks about the quarrel between him and his brother. So here's the poem. It is common for brother and sister to quarrel, although sometimes they may not even be able to say why they quarrel. But how long do such quarrels last? How do they end? I quarreled with my brother, I don't know what about. One thing led to another, and somehow we fell out. The start of it was slight, the end of it was strong. He said he was right, I know he was wrong. We hated one another. The afternoon turned black. Then suddenly my brother thumped me on my back and said, "Oh, come along. We cannot go on all night." I was in the wrong, so he was in the right. So here in the first paragraph, the poet wants to tell that the poet had a fight with his brother. Both of them were fighting and were not even aware of the cause of the fight. The fight was happening because of series of things. One thing was giving way to another. While fighting, both fell down. In the beginning, fight was modest and was not very serious, but gradually it grew intense and became a serious issue. His brother said he was right, whereas the narrator was thinking himself on the right side. Then suddenly, in the noon, the fight became serious and both started hating each other. They did not like one another. All of a sudden, Poet's brother hit him on the back and asked him to get along, as it was not the right thing to pull the matter throughout the night. He also declared humbly that he was wrong, which proved his generosity. This moved the poet's heart, and he realized that he was wrong. So, in this poem, we have learned that we should remember that inside all these arguments is that paradox of human nature. We change our opinions as time goes by. Now, it's time for the textbook questions. Students, these are the textbook questions. You have to write the answers in your notebooks. Now it's time to assess your knowledge, that how much you have learned. So this is assignment question number 1, that is reference to context. You have to read this stanza and you have to answer these questions. Again, this is second RTC, that is reference to context. And you have to answer these questions. I hope you have understood the poem clearly. Thank you.